Shabbos, everybody. Before we get started, I want to tell you a brief story first because we had the sound issues we did earlier, and this is Zoom. Can y'all hear me okay? Just give a thumbs up if you can. Sounded good? All right, we're in business. So I was in a shul in over in California, and it was Saturday morning. We're studying Torah, like everybody's kind of hanging out and talking. We're also drinking plum wine, which was terrible until the third glass. Then it's like the greatest thing ever. And this young person comes charging in the room, and he shouts at the top of his lungs. He's like, Shabbos! 4 years old, shouting Shabbos. Everybody stops what they're doing, looks up, and they're all like, Shabbos! Like right back. And then the 4-year-old charges. It was the strangest thing I'd seen. And I looked at my buddy, and I said, well, what was that? And they were like, oh, that's Shmulik. That's his thing. I said, that he does that a lot? They're like, oh, yeah, he'll do it a bunch. Well, sure enough, like 7 times that morning, this young person comes charging in, Shabbos, and everybody's like, Shabbos, right back. So when we were on this last tour all last year, in the beginning of this year, before COVID hit, we got into a habit of every Friday night when I was leading these kind of country music, Americana Shabbat services, we would always shout Shabbos. We'd do it at the top, and we'd kind of get going, shake a little dust, and then sure enough, I would get calls from rabbis like on Thursday, like the next week, saying, hey, thanks a lot. I came in today. I told everybody Shabbat Shalom. Sure enough, somebody in the back's like, Shabbos. So, anywho, I'm going to give you a Shabbos, and if you give me one back, it would sure be great. And listen, if you're like somewhere where maybe your neighbors could hear you, and they're like, what's that? And you can be like, Shabbos, and you can share it with them too. All right, it goes like this. Shabbos!
Shabbos!
Yeah, there it is. Oh, it feels good, right? All right, here we go. So this Hine Matov, we're going to keep going with this Shabbos feeling, right? Because we're in it. So this Hine Matov, we're going to take the word Tov and stretch it out. That's our job. Find the good and expand on it. But it sounds like this. Yeah, well, I remember that I was there. Well, on that mountain, long ago. Well, I've been told that you were with me. Brothers and sisters, what we all. But I remember there was thunder on that mountain from the Lord. We carry in us all the memories of those words that came before. He named my toe, my name, just like that. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. He named my toe, my name. Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. I'll tell you, you can throw some chicken necking on there. You can put a little attitude, a little swagger on it if you want. I said that in the show one time, and someone went, did you say chicken nuggets? No, it's chicken necking. All right, here we go one more time. He named my toe, my name, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. He named my toe, my name, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. 'Cause if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. I can still hear them saying, oh, that you never break the chain. And if you don't love me now, yeah, you will never love me again. And I can still hear them saying that you'll never break the chain. Hine matov u'manayim v'shevet achim gam yachad. One more time. Hine matov U'manayim V'shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Shabbos! Shabbos. All right. So I will tell you, I took my earpiece out here so that I can kind of hear myself. Again, we're on the secondary system. So I'm going to keep rolling along if that's okay. Just a couple more tunes here for you. We got a little bit planned. I'm going to play the first Jewish song I ever wrote. The truth is, I'm 8 years old this year. I know I'm super tall for my age. My beard came in really early. But I found out my wife was Jewish after we were married for 13 years. and she thought I knew the whole time. It is a completely wild story. It's 100% true. And the discovery and the journey that kind of followed, my son found out he was Jewish when he was 12. Everything that followed that discovery really just changed the whole world for us, changed our lives. I'm going to tell you that story tomorrow. So come on back. I'll give you a little taste here and there, but make sure you come on back for the whole, kit and caboodle, and I'll play. I'm also going to play Unbroken as part of that show as well. But yeah, it changed the world. Judaism changed our lives, and I'm going to tell you some part that you played in this a little later on. But the first Jewish song I ever wrote was based on the Shema. It was called Here. And I got stopped one time at a festival. Some fella come up the stage. He said, stop playing. I said, why? He said, because you can't say the word Adonai unless you're praying. We were like in the middle of the set. And I said, hold on. I said, well, how about this? How about every time I do this, I'm praying? And he was like, all right, that's fine. So if you feel like doing some praying, I would encourage you to do it. It goes like this. Yeshema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Just like that. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Well, stand up now, be recognized for all that you've done. Get up now, Yisrael, the Lord God is one. Well, it's easier enough to do all that God has asked. But you're who you are, and by that grace you're up for the task. Hey! Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. But everywhere, look around, all people want to change. They spray the faith with different paints and then a wider range. There's no joy to cry, but can't we be just like the rest? To them I say there's joy in who you are. Well, stand up now, say Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. So be like Abraham and shake the hand of everyone you meet. But don't forget who you are, people so unique. Hashem revealed himself to you, set your people free. If that was all it done, it'd be enough. Yeah, but she stayed with you and me, and so Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Yeah, 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 Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. One more. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Thank y'all so much. I sure appreciate it. So the rabbi has our shirt on. He's got there. I know it's Shabbos, so I'm going to tell you, if you can find this music after Shabbos if you want for free everywhere in the world. You can stream it. You don't ever purchase any of my stuff. You go stream it for free. I wrote it for you. I want you to hear it. The new album's called Back from Babylon, and it's really about kind of coming out of your comfort zone a little bit. And speaking of comfort zones, Judaism was a step way outside of my comfort zone. It's a weirdly, I'm trying to find the right word here. It seems so unapproachable when it's your first time in a shul. You walk in, you sit down, everybody's, speaking another language. There's no vowels. There's you're not sure what side of the page am I supposed to be on, and what does transliteration even mean? And they told me to look at that, but I don't know what that is, and it's like, it feels like there's these layers and layers behind stuff. But the truth is that Judaism is wildly accessible through people. People make it so approachable. You know that moment in the service where we hagba, right? Where we lift up the Torah and we show it behind us to everybody in the room who didn't read from it. Everybody who hasn't seen it gets to see the Torah, and they get to see it whether they're Jewish or not, right? You hold it up for all to see. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and from my family for all the holding up the Torah that you've done over the generations, keeping it safe and keeping it sacred and keeping it a home for all the people who are looking for it, because there's a lot of people looking for it. I didn't know I was till I found it, so thank you for that. This is a song for the High Holy Days. This is called Return, and it goes like this. Well, I will take a long look at me and think about what it is that I see. Have I been good? Woe to you. And did I do all that I said I'd do? Remembering the words that I've used, thinking about the times that I was rude. Well, if I am thankful for this gift, let me say it with deeds, not just lips. It's gonna be a brave new year, starting right now, right here. Well, I will be strong and stand up tall, reach out for others, oh, when they fall. Well, I will rejoice in my faith. Remember that love is why we're made, to be the very best that I can be, for the world and for me. 'Cause every day we live our lives, but some days we let ourselves slide, and we forget our way. Thankfully it's not too late. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Vanenu. I may have done wrong at times, I know, but through my actions I will show. It's gonna be a brave new year, starting right now, right here. Well, I will be strong and stand up tall, reach out for others, so when they fall, well, I will rejoice in my faith. Remember that love is why we're made, and be the very best that I can be, for the world and for me. Yeah, Teshuvah, Teshuvah, return. Return Teshuvah, oh Teshuvah, oh return, oh return. It's gonna be a brave new year, starting right now, right here. Well, I will be strong and stand up tall, and reach out for others, oh, when they fall. Well, I will rejoice in my faith. Remember that love is why we're made, and be the very best that I can be, for the world and oh, for me. Yeah, Teshuvah, Teshuvah, return, oh, return. Teshuvah, oh, Teshuvah, oh, return, oh, return.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Y'all mind if I play you I think probably the perfect country and western song for the High Holy Days, because we need a sad song, right? There's got to be a real heartbreak tune in there, and I'm going to play you a song that took me about 2 years to write, because it was a subject that I struggled very heavily with. And then I promise you, the second this song is over, we're going to take it right back up. All right, so this is a song about the binding of Isaac. Everybody's like, oh boy, here we go, right? Get ready. It's a tough subject, and I have my own thoughts on it, but I'm not going to tell you the midrash that we kind of came up with out of all this. I'm just going to play it for you. This is Isaac singing up to his father, begging for him to remember the person that he was. Y'all hear that okay? Well, Father dear, why are we here? Way up on this mountain clear. Did you hear? What was asked of you was a test, I fear. Well, Mother's waiting, well, in the valley below. She's waiting on us to come home. Please don't go there alone. And I know that you prayed for the lives of men and an untold number of sons. No, there were not 10, no, and there were not 10. But Father dear, well, here is one. Fathers, please unbind your sons. 'Cause the pain that you're pouring, they'll drink until they're gone. And you won't see the bruises and you won't see the wounds until you beat it out of them, just like the world did to you. Fathers, please unbind your sons. I remember, oh, not too long ago, you and Mother would dance across the floor. I thought, God, that's what living is for. And you told me how you'd go shake every hand, and once leaving God behind, yeah, doing right, it was once on your mind. And I know that you prayed for the lives of men and an untold number of sons. Well, there were not 10, no, and there were not 10. But Father dear, well, here is one. Fathers, please unbind your sons. 'Cause the pain that you're pouring, they'll drink until they're gone. Yeah, and you won't see the bruises and you won't see the wounds until you beat it out of them, just like the world did to you. So fathers, please unbind your sons. And here we are, and I'm looking at you, and way back in your eyes is the man that I knew. God lost a friend and a fighter in you, and it breaks my heart, 'cause the world did too. Where are you? Fathers, please unbind your son. 'Cause the pain that you're pouring, I'll drink, yeah, till I'm gone. And you won't see the bruises and you won't see the wounds until you beat it out of me, just like the world did to you. Father, please unbind your son. There was a time when you believed in the world, and Father, I believed in you. That's a
Wow.
Rabbi. I saw you jump in there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And
Thanks.
We have some Israeli poems about that are midrash on it. So nice. Thank you.
That's a heavy piece of business. You know, it's there's a lot of different kind of views on that whole situation, and I think it's good that we have all those views on it because it maybe help us understand what was going on a little bit more, right? So, anyhow, I'm going to bring it way up for y'all. we're going to take it right back up. I'm going to play this tune. It's called Say What You Will. It's really about all those folks kind of that seem to know how you should live your life better than you do, right? And folks that want to live your life maybe for you a little bit. This is called Say What You Will. And then I'm going to play you what may be the world's first Jewish drinking song. All right, it goes like this. Here we go. Oh, I should tell you, I'm from Texas, and there's a part in this song that says, build your fence, but don't build it so high. And I'm talking about the fence around the Torah. Everybody always assumes I'm talking about the border. And they're always like, nice political statement. And I'm like, that's not what that is. So just heads up when that comes in there. All right, it goes like this. Well, say what you will. Well, now say what you will about me. And at least I'm trying to be free. Trying to do all that God asked of me. Just like that. Well, say what you will. Well, now say what you will about me. And at least I'm trying to be free. Trying to do all that God asked of me. We can be jaded at times, feel faded at times, and be tucked away. We're too far to see. Surrender to our inner lies and not feel the truth of who we're meant to be. 'Cause we're all a beacon of light to the seekers inside that want to be free. Hey! Say what you will. Well, now say what you will about me. Well, at least I'm trying to be free. Trying to do all that God asked of me. Hold on to the tree, yeah, and all that you do, and be proud of yourself. Always be you, 'cause there's strength in our story, there's strength in our song. We'll be alright in each other's arms. So build your fence, but don't build it so high that you can't see outside. Every soul is a beacon, each spirit a breath, and we give to each other, but we forget what we left. So pray like a child and be the gift that you are. Not each other's judge, but each other's heart. Well, say what you will. Oh, now say what you will about me. Oh, at least I'm trying to be free. Trying to do all that God asked of me. Say what you will. Well, now say what you will about me. At least I'm trying to be free. Trying to do all that God asked of me. Yeah. All right. So I only got a couple more for you here, but I'm going to play the world's first Jewish drinking song. You know, it's probably not, because a lot of our prayer melodies are based on like 16th century drinking songs, right? I heard that. So this was written in the hallway of a conference. I won't say what conference, but I was coming down to protect the innocent. So I was coming down the hallway, and somebody said, they said, hey, they said, are you from Texas? And I said, I sure am. And they were pointing at my hat. And I said, there's a lot of other states, by the way, that wear cowboy hats. We don't have like a monopoly on that. But they were right. And they said, well, how do you spell whiskey? You spell it with a W or a B. And I said, listen, I'll spell it however you're pouring it. And they were like, all right. So we sat down, we were talking. This one lady looks at me and she goes, I've had enough to drink that my tears taste like whiskey. And I was like, what? I said, have y'all written that song yet? And they were like, what song? I was like, let's do it. So I broke out my guitar, and we wrote this song. And someday I'm going to get over to Lamood, UK, and we're going to do this on the big stage together. And I think the only thing that makes this a Jewish drinking song is it has the word Tish in it. That's about it. But it goes like this. Let me take this earpiece out here. Well, it's a good night when you can cry those tears made of whiskey. Well, there's good friends right at your side, all singing a song. Yeah, and it's a good night when you can cry those tears made of whiskey. And all the signs say that the Tish has gone on too long. That's how it goes. Well, it's a good night when you can cry those tears made of whiskey. There's good friends right at your side, all singing a song. Well, it's a good night when you can cry those tears made of whiskey. And the signs say that the Tish has gone on too long. Well, I've had so much, my tears, they're tasting like whiskey. I left all good sense right down in the dust. Well, there's no polish left and everything's risky. Well, you won't see the diamonds, my friend, but you might see the rust. Here we go. Well, it's a good night when you can cry those tears made of whiskey. There's good friends right at your side, all singing a song. Yeah, it's a good night when you can cry those tears made of whiskey. And the signs say that the Tish has gone on too long. I gotta stop making myself laugh every time I do that part. Well, I remember the days when things seemed simple. Memories taste better with time, that's what I've been told. Well, that's a night when I look around, the good times they abound. The memories I'm drinking, they taste great, and they never get old. All right, one more time. Well, it's a good night when you can cry those tears made of whiskey. There's good friends right at your side, all singing a song. All right. Well, it's a good night when you can cry those tears made of whiskey. And the signs say that the Tish has gone on too long.
Oh, and you really know it when the Tish has gone on too long.
Oh, I'm so glad y'all enjoyed that. Rabbi, I see your screen going, but I can't hear a word you're saying. There we go.
Oh, I'm saying, like, you do really know it when the Tish has gone on too long.
It has, yeah. And we're almost to that point right now. So I'm going to play you a closing song.
Hold on just a second. I wanted to say one thing. I want to thank you. I'll thank you again. But
well, I appreciate that.
I've tried to share with the congregation that we're living through kind of a blossoming and a creative period of Jewish music. Yeah. Between the Israeli Jewish music and the American Jewish music and a certain British Jewish musician that it sounds like you might have written a song with, that we're also friends with. It's just such an amazing thing to be living through this blossoming. And of course, Jewish music has always been international and around the world where we go. So thank you for bringing your sound to that whole mix. I really, really appreciate it, and I won't interrupt you anymore.
Oh, no. Listen, I appreciate what you said earlier and now. It really means a lot. You know, I had no context for Jewish music when I started writing. And I started writing near the end of my conversion because I was discovering so much stuff that was just, I mean, it was changing the way I was looking at the world, and all of a sudden the world wasn't full of strangers anymore. It was just people I hadn't had the chance to meet yet. And it was a very different outlook on everything. You know, when you go from feeling completely just lost and really just feeling worthless for a long time to suddenly realizing that and being shown that your value is, it's built in. You're part of creation. You're loved exactly as you are, and you're great enough to start right where you are with however you want to do things. It was just a whole different mindset from where I came from before. And so I started writing a lot of music. Not necessarily all of the songs you heard tonight. That table song is a little different, but a lot of this music was written to help me understand stuff I was going through. And then all the healing that Judaism was doing was hopefully do some of that for other people and kind of help hold the door open for folks the way it was held open for me. But I'm going to play you one little closing song here. It's called Small Town Tonight, and it ends with this little lullaby. And that's really what you've created. Typically, I would do this at the end of like Havdalah or something. We'd all be in a close circle. We can't do that. Maybe not for a while, but we can do this. Look at us. Look at us getting together when we're told not to be together. We're so rebellious. How about it? All right. It goes like this. Well, it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Spoiler alert, that's you. Well, we're a small town, and we're a small town in here tonight. That's how it goes. All right. Well, it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Yeah, and we're a small town, and we're a small town here tonight. We've crossed the desert, we've been through the sea, we've drifted apart, been close as can be. We made new friends and new family. We're gathered tonight in peace. Yeah, and it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Yeah, and we're a small town, and we're a small town here tonight. If you're feeling alone, you're not on your own. We've all been there at times in our lives. So fill up your cup, come on, raise it up. Yeah, when we saved you, place at our side. Hey, and it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Yeah, and we're a small town, and we're a small town here tonight. Many road maps exist, there's a lot of exits. It's okay to get lost on the way. I'm a traveler too, and I'm glad I met you. And it looks like we're headed the same way. And it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Yeah, and we're a small town, and we're a small town here tonight. The day is done, and the night arrives like a prayer across the sky. Whisper sweet words before we close our eyes, and our dreams take us from the earth. Good night, my love. Good night, my love. Oh, now thank you for the light that you bring. Good night, my love. Good night, my love. Oh, good night, my everything. There's one more song before we close our eyes and we rest from the choices we've made. We thank you, God, for the life we've got and for the blessings today. Good night, my love. Good night, my love. Oh, now thank you for the light that you bring. Good night, my love. Good night, my love. Oh, good night, my everything. Shema Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad.
Beautiful.
Thank you all so much. Y'all are such good folks. I appreciate that.
It's like the convention last night. We all have to clap after it in little boxes. But it's so beautiful. That's a beautiful, beautiful lullaby. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
and while
it.
you were very kind and said this music is for streaming, and certainly I've shared some of it with the congregation, and we'll share more.
Thank you.
I want to encourage people, if you want Jewish music to flourish, it's also really nice to buy albums and CDs from musicians, if you can, because, you know, it don't come free. So, I would just encourage you to give that some thought and to support Jewish music, because it's so important to us. And music lives for centuries when we don't.
Amen.
So,
Thank you, Rabbi. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. Oh, my goodness. Well, I know we're meeting tomorrow at noon, and I'm crazy excited about it. Does anybody have any questions for me or anything I can answer for you, like right now while we're sitting here just kind of chilling and hanging
I
out?
want to hear the Kinky Friedman story.
Oh, let me tell you. Oh, this is a great story. This is so good. All right. So, by the way, I'm here in Houston, Texas. This is my home studio. I know it looks a lot like a bar, and that's wildly intentional. I figured if I gotta be back here working like all day long, right? Because we'll be back here doing music and everything else. I want it to look like, like a bar. I don't know. Maybe that sounds terrible. So I'm in an airport, and I had been told so many times I needed to meet Kinky, and I guess he had been told about me a couple of times. And so I'm coming through this airport, and I'm near the United terminal, and I see this guy standing there chewing this cigar. He's got a black hat on. I got my black hat on. He's wearing a black shirt. I'm wearing a black shirt, and we're both holding guitar cases. And true story, we start walking up towards each other. Like, you ever seen those old westerns, right, where people are going to draw? They're kind of like this swagger, where they're just eyeballing, And we walk up to each other. He gets real close, and he's chewing that cigar, obviously not smoking it. And I said, "Excuse me, sir, you Kinky Friedman?" And he goes, said the coolest look I've ever heard. He goes, "Well, son, I used to be." I started dying laughing. I was like, "Man, that's the coolest thing I have ever heard." I said, "You got to be pretty darn cool to say something like that." And he goes, "You play a lot of synagogues?" And I said, I do play. I play quite a few synagogues and JCCs and communities and stuff." And he goes, "Well, they don't know how to take me sometimes." I said, "Well, you're your own thing, Kinky. You're your own beautiful thing." And then he goes, "I want you to come out to the ranch sometime." And I said, "Oh, great, when?" And he goes, "Well, hell, I don't know." And that was our conversation. It was great.
yeah, my cousin worked on his campaign.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Rob Edelson, who was like a TV producer down in Dallas, I think.
Nice.
Houston, but yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much.
Nice. That's my pleasure.
Thank you, everybody, for showing up for it. I really appreciate it. It's far from Vermont, and yet the music, there's a lot of resemblances in a lot of ways. So
That's true. You got mountains.
we do. We sure do.
it.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
Thank you very
shalom.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Shabbat shalom.
Bye, shalom.
See you tomorrow.
Shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Don't come
Thank
to-
you, Joe.
Shabbat shalom.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, everyone.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Thank you.
You know, my association with screaming Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
What have you done?
Shabbos.
Shabbos!
Shabbos.
That's what the Hasidim scream at you in Jerusalem if you drive through their neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Shabbos! And when we first went through that neighborhood, we thought they were saying Shabbos. So we went Shabbos! And they're like, I wasn't driving, so they weren't mad at me. But you know, when you started that story, it was cracking me up because we had the story with these Hasidim screaming Shabbos because somebody was driving near their neighborhood.
Right.
So,
Right, and they are shaking their fist.
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So now, when Tim and I in New Hampshire, in Bethlehem, New Hampshire, there's a little town where I was the rabbi for a while, and they have the Satmars come, the Hasidim come in large numbers. And the other day, Tim and I were visiting some of our friends there who are on this now. And as we were driving out, we were calling out to the Hasidim, Shabbos, out our window. So I'm telling that story because it speaks to me. So Joe, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow around noon. And
We'll see you tomorrow.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Take care.
Shabbat shalom. Make that Shabbat shalom, y'all.
Karen, you make me laugh.
It's genuine.
I know, I just love you.
Oh, it's so good to see everybody.
I know.
I'm going to end the meeting now. So Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.